Good morning. This is your help video for the graphing skills Gizmo. So here's how I have my screen set up, and this is what I recommend to everyone who's working on the Gizmo assignments. You should have it split. One half of your screen should be the Google Doc that you're going to be getting your instructions from. The other half of the screen should be the Gizmo itself. Now, I want to remind you that I posted everyone's new logins in that assignment. So when you open it up, the PDF, it says like to physics, Gizmo's login, like click on that, and that's going to tell you like your username and your password. And I know some of you might have already saved your username and passwords in your computer, but I had to refresh. So make sure you do the same. Okay. Now, for the actual assignment, gizmos are set up the exact same way. Every single gizmo is like this. So just know this for the future. The first couple questions are called prior knowledge questions, and those you can answer without even opening or touching the gizmo. Okay, so there's 3 of them here, just asking you some vague questions about graphs. Then when you get to the next part, it says gizmo warm up using the graphing skills gizmo. This is just going to be an introduction to the buttons that you might be pressing or the things that you can manipulate in the actual gizmo. So let's go ahead and do that part together. It says the graphing skills gizmo starts with a bar graph. Let me hit refresh on my screen because I had been messing with it earlier. But it says it starts with a bar graph on the right and a data set on the left. And it says practice using the gizmo by doing the following. First, we need to write a title. So looking at our gizmo, like they said, here's our data table on the left and our bar graph on the right. A good title for this graph could just match what the data table is saying. So animal speed data. If you wanted to be super scientific about it, remember you can always do your independent variable versus your dependent, or I said that backwards. It should be your dependent versus your independent, or your y versus your x. So that would be speed versus animal. You can do it either which way. Then it says to label the vertical and horizontal axes. So looking down here, it looks like these letters here represent the animal, such as CHE for cheetah, HMN, oh, human, oh, they included humans, interesting, okay. And then that would mean that these numbers would represent the speed measured in kilometers per hour. Okay, then it says change the scale of the vertical axes. So why would we need to change the scale? Well, if you look at what we have right now, it only goes up to 100. If you look at our data set, our highest value is 112. So we need to change that scale so that it includes 112. I think if you click this, it helps you increase or decrease the numbers. It looks like we have no choice but to just go straight up to that one. Interesting. Okay, and then we're going to drag the bars up and down to match the data. So like cheetah is 112. So we're going to click and drag this guy, and we're just going to kind of guess. Like halfway would be 115. So I'm going to go down a couple, maybe about there. Elephant is 40. So that should be pretty easy because that matches the line. Hare, which is like a rabbit, is 56. So that'd be 50 and then 56, maybe there. And then horse is 72. So notice that like as I'm doing this, I'm kind of estimating where those bars would end up. I know it's not perfect, but I'm estimating the best that I can. Human is 34. Wow, a human can run, 34 kilometers. I was going to say 34 miles per hour. That's fast. Okay, there we go. And then ostrich is 66. Oh, maybe like there. Okay. We're just going to guess. All right. Then it says use the graph type drop down list to select other kinds of graphs and practice with the other kinds of graphs. When you go through the rest of this gizmo, the only kinds of graphs we're going to work with are bar graphs and scatter plots. So let's just do that scatter plot. In fact, I'm going to delete these other ones. Don't waste your time. I mean, if you want to, you can. So let's do the same thing with a scatter plot. But notice this time we have different data, right? So this one, the title could be studying and score data. So then on this one, we would have time on our x-axis measured in minutes, and then the score that the student got, and just leave it as score. Okay, then we double check our scales. So the time, our highest value is only 40, so I think we can maybe make this a little bit smaller on the x-axis. That looks okay. Yeah, that looks good. And then our highest score here is 99, so a scale going up to 100 would work pretty well. Okay, so now we can graph our data points, and each of the data points represents a certain person, right? So like Robert studied 40 minutes and got a score of 98. So we're going to take this dot here, and he did 40 and then got a score of 98, which is like there. And then Griselda studied for only 5 minutes, and she got a score of 58. Poor Griselda. That might be like, okay. Maria studied 15 minutes and got an 89. Don't you guys wish we had this system in place for like all the other graphs that we had been doing? This would be so much easier. OMG. Okay. 30 minutes and 87. Okay, and then, ooh, poor Patrick. 5 minutes and 47. And then Muriel, 15 and 68. Harold, 20 and 78. Alicia, 35 and 99. About like that. That's okay. And then that's how you do a scatter plot, is you drag the dots that are next to the data table over onto the thing, onto the graph. Okay. So that's the gist of using those two kinds of graphs. So the first activity, it says activity A, bar graphs. You cannot forget to do this part. Get the Gizmo ready. It's kind of like resetting the system with a fresh with a fresh slate for you to work on. So it says on the challenge menu, make sure that you've hit create graph. Check. On the graph menu, bar graph. Check. If necessary, click new until the animal speed data appears. It's already there. So then you just follow the instructions. It's plain and simple. The first part is just creating the graph again, which I know we did, but like do it again. And then it says click check to see how well you did. And it's going to like check your accuracy of how well you put those bars in the correct places, which is kind of fun because now like I wish I'd checked mine to see how well I did. It's fine. And then it says click show value, which is this blue button here. If you click on that, it's going to let you see the value that the bars are actually at. So if you got an accuracy score of like 89%, it's probably because some of your bars were like way off. So you click show values and you can see which ones you need to fix. So then there's a little bit of graph interpretation questions, and then that's it. And then the next part is activity C, which is scatter plots. Again, get the Gizmo ready, graph type, click on scatter plot, and then you do the whole shebang again. Graph it, check your accuracy, make edits, and then a couple extra questions. Okay, if you have any other like issues aside from that, email me. I have office hours starting at 11:20, and then honestly, you guys, I just let the office hours be open until 12:45 because I don't like clicking and redoing the tabs and all the whole thing. So you can come anytime between 11:20 and 12:45. I am there to help you. Otherwise, we'll see you in the afternoon time, and we're going to take our quiz. Alrighty, we'll see you guys in a minute.